Hi, this is going to be a quick overview demo of Jama Connect. Jama Connect helps medical device developers manage requirements, risk, testing, and project volatility to ease the path to compliance. It streamlines your design controls, your processes, which really, your design controls is the #1 area for those 483 observations and warning letters. It really helps teams become more innovative rather than spending time with all the heavy documentation. So what you're seeing right now is our home page, our home screen. I've just logged in. The main purpose is it kind of shows me where people are waiting for me and things that I was working on last, things that I need to pay attention to right away. You can see the active reviews. This replaces Word and email, allows people to review data like requirements or user needs or risks or user stories or validations in a manner kind of like track changes. The stream tells me where people are waiting on me. This is, I like to call it my action item area, my to-do list. The recently viewed, this just helps me pick right back up where I left off the last time I was using Jama. Let's take a look at Jama. Let's open up one of these projects here. So one of the things that you're going to see in the demo is that the usability is very easy. We designed our UI so that all stakeholders, regardless of your role or technical ability, you don't have to be just a systems engineer to use Jama. The Explorer tree, we have on the left is what we call our Explorer tree. And this particular project, this Clear 3 project, it's a mix of hardware and software. It's a fictional Class 2 hearing aid device, kind of a system of systems. And you can see that here the way that we've broken down the data in our tree. So we've got at the top our user needs and market requirements. I've got some system requirements at the system level. I can see inside of my subsystems the implant, the sound processor, the external abutment. Our software team is kind of taking a agile approach to developing the software that's inside of this hearing aid. So we've organized this data to sort of match the system architecture of the hearing aid itself. And this helps teams visualize the system. It helps them visualize where the artifacts are. And especially if you need to follow IEC, 15288 or 21 CFR 820, in many ways this can resemble your design history file, right? So this particular process that you're looking at is actually our out-of-the-box medical device template. So your process and terminology might not exactly match what you see here, but one of the nice things is that Jama is very configurable. It gives you the options to set things up in the way that your organization works, right? So on the right-hand side in the main area is our dashboard. This particular, basically it's kind of like a collection of widgets that query the project for different items and then puts them here so you can inspect them and easily navigate to them. It gives you a good understanding for things like overall life cycle status of your requirements. It helps you find your requirements that might be missing validation tests or requirements, which requirements have failing tests. The dashboard is entirely configurable. I can change the layout of the widgets and even add new widgets. So when a user goes to actually do work, such as reading requirements or creating new requirements or editing requirements, they're just going to navigate to the tree and then click on the set of items that they want to look at. So if I want to look at the particular set of system requirements, I can click on it and then show it in the main area. Now our views of the data are contextual and satisfy the needs of different roles of users that might be working with it. We have a reading view, we have a list view. The list view feels a lot like a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, but I can easily toggle between those kind of views. So in this reading view, it looks and feels more like a document. Users more used to Word documents will be I think they'll be pleased to see a lot more information in a single view without having to open other documents and do a lot of cross-referencing. In this reading view, I can see things like status and priority. If I want to add that information to this view, I can easily add that. I can also see trace relationships, right? So right in this one view. So I can see that this one individual system requirement is traced to some user needs, and I can see it's traced to different architecture of the system. I can see a hardware subsystem requirement and even some verification tests. And this is nice because now I can have that full context in one place, and it just saves me a lot of time in having to look at a whole bunch of other things, spreadsheets and Word documents. That's nice to having that in one place. Our built-in actionable commenting also makes it easy for users to ask questions or raise decisions or notify people that a change has been made. So if I click on the particular comment, I can see where other people have commented, and then I can ask people, maybe the entire team, what is it, if we need to make this particular device waterproof for swimming in salt water, do we need a new coating? I can frame this particular kind of comment and make it actionable as well by phrasing the comment as a question, right? So really simple ways to get people more involved by using that built-in collaboration. Traceability is another critical component for successful requirements management. The relationship diagram, here on the dashboard you can see our relationship diagram. It tells me how information is allowed to be decomposed and traced within this particular project that I'm working on. It sets the stage for the information that I'm collecting in my project. This set of rules very much follows 21 CFR 820 and relative parts of ISO 13485. Jama prevents you from making traces outside of this set of rules. So you don't want to introduce risk by allowing inappropriate traces between your data. Now, there are numerous mechanisms for users to work with traceability views in Jama itself. One of them, if I want to see the full end-to-end traceability, our Coverage Explorer, a great way to look at that information. I can have saved views of that information. Maybe if I want to look at the traceability of the user needs all the way down to through the requirements, I can see the user needs, the system requirements, the user stories, where I have a line that just indicates a gap in traceability. Right? These views are exportable as well. So anytime you see a sort of a list view or a trace view, you can export that to Excel and see exactly what you see on the screen. So here's an export where I'm tracing from user needs to system validations, right? And your system requirements. Again, so we have that capability to export to Word, Excel, PDFs, right? I can also work with traceability in a live manner. So maybe I want to see what those traces are from the user needs. In our live tracing view, it's not just static. So I can scroll across and follow that traceability down. And I can even add traces to my to this view too. So I don't have to go to another machine or cross-reference any other documents. I can add that trace. So if this particular user needs to have its trace to a test case, I can just add that particular validation test right in, and it will create that trace for me. And of course, I can do bulk actions as well. Our traceability is very flexible and very robust, and we really design it to allow a lot of people to really easily use it and understand the information that they're looking at. So traceability in the context of risk management is also really critically important. And our new risk center allows us to, it sort of lets you foster a cultural environment more conducive to life and safety critical development, I think. Risk analyses are no longer necessarily bound up in a spreadsheet that only a select few engineers have access to, but in Jama can now become transparent to the broader team. So identifications of hazards and hazardous situations should take place very early on, not just in the midst of development or after the fact, and so some of the themes that we've been trying to weave into our risk management is important. You might notice these. One, we provide a visual format that's easy to and immediately familiar to users, very much like Excel. And this format also facilitates adherence to a standard template, right? And the second one, we recognize that there are different types of roles that need to participate in the risk process. One group, wants to enter in risk data quickly and analyze it. Another group is maybe the team that administers the process and the tools and the templates for risk management. And so we made our risk center really easy to use by both types of stakeholders. Everybody wants, improved efficiency of our cross-functional team. And this is just a risk analysis that's in progress. I can also look at the definitions. And this particular definitions is based upon our ISO 14971 template that comes out of the box with our risk center. This would be typically something you would export, right? You want to make your definitions of how you're doing this particular risk analysis available to the team and probably part of your design history file. This particular risk analysis can be exported out to Excel. And it looks pretty much darn like exactly what you see on the screen. I can see that same information, and we export the definitions as well. Right? So back into Jama, we also enable a different kind of collaboration. So we're extending collaboration in fantastic ways. You saw the collaboration through that ad hoc commenting, but we wanted to extend that to provide a more efficient way to conduct reviews of documents. So we virtualized the review of that, so you can review virtually your sets of system requirements, your user needs, your test cases, even your verification results. So instead of shipping those around in a Word document, we're inviting people to come into Jama itself to review and approve and comment on in a live and dynamic way, right? It allows you to become more iterative. So let's say I'm the lead engineer and I sent this set of system requirements out, and a week has gone by, and I'm looking at this review now. And in this particular view, it kind of looks familiar. I see that same set of requirements we were looking at before, but now I can see that people have made some highlighting. People have commented on this. It's designed to be used by almost anybody. Anybody can highlight over and make a highlight or a comment. Reviewers that are participating collaborate in parallel rather than waiting for one group to finish. And because it's collaborative, everyone sees each other's comments, so you get faster resolution around issues and questions. Also reviewers' comments, all of these comments in this review are retained for context, so that, maybe as a new member joins the project, solved issues don't need to be rehashed or re-explained. I can also see the statistics for this review. If I had sent out a Word document, I have no idea if someone's even opened that thing. But here I can see how long people were spending in the review, kind of the progress that we have along the way of the reviewers and the approvers. And this is just a level of insight, you just don't have with Word when you're reviewing just a Word document. We really believe that it's critical to get everyone on the same page with what needs to be built. And this is kind of why we built Review Center. So by bringing in all of the stakeholders early, product teams build commitment and buy-in to the solution that they ultimately build. But by bringing the full breadth of the system development team, including engineering, QA, the customer, to bear really early, our customers are experiencing higher quality requirements and faster approval cycles. At the conclusion of these reviews, Jama can optionally require an electronic signature to support 21 CFR Part 11. I think the final step in this process of development, after you've done your risk assessments, you've articulated your requirements, you've made traces through your requirements, traces to your test cases, is testing. So Jama Connect lets you not only author and manage test cases, but compile them into a test protocols and even perform manual test execution. Now, here's an example. I've got my test plans, and this one individual test plan is composed of a group of tests. These tests, are easily, made by dragging and dropping the individual test or a group of tests into these groups. You can create custom groups. And then as a tester, here's a test that I'm right in the middle of executing. And in this particular view, as I follow the test steps, I can mark whether the test steps are passed or failed. I can record the results of my tests, right? Or if a particular step fails, I have built-in defect tracking as well. So I don't have to go out to an external tool to log or create a defect, and Jama will automatically to trace this particular defect to the test case, right? The advantage of doing it here is that Jama will maintain that for you in one view, in one database. So it really eases, that burden for the users and to be able to prove and capture that information. I'm just going to close out of that. So Jama Connect has 3 different reporting engines. We've seen a couple of them so far. You've seen a couple of spreadsheets that I've been able to export. We can also export to Word. We can export to PDFs. We can have export to HTML. Our 3 different reporting engines really helps facilitate those customized documents and reports that our regulatory submissions really need to have, and help those audit preparations become a really straightforward process. Some of our customers do choose to validate Jama, the Jama Connect system itself, and some customers even choose to take exports from Jama and then route them through their existing QMS documentation controls. That's completely up to you. We do have a toolkit available that makes validation process much more simple. Well, thank you very much.